Hi everyone, let's do this again. You have just came into Black Philanthropy Speaks. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Dr. Brandy Jackson. I'm so excited to have you guys here on this Martin Luther King birthday. I really wanted to go live for my next video. I have a beautiful view in front of me, my window, and I said, let's go live. I know that I have a really key topic that I want to talk about. So let's get into it. Again, I want to say happy Martin Luther King Day. This is a great day to honor Martin Luther King and all of the all of his life, his legacy. And so by doing so, I wanted to honor HBCUs. That's one of my passions. I'm a Fisk University graduate as well as a Howard University graduate. And this is my research. I love historically Black colleges. I particularly looked at private HBCUs, fundraisers, and how they obtain funding for their institutions. And so, particularly, I wanted to take a look at all the great funding that's going to HBCUs. And so, I thought today would be a great day to do so. And so, we're here in my house, as you see. I'm stay a while and let's go. I love the verse in Proverbs. It talks about how your gifts will make room for you. And so it says in Proverbs 18, a gift opens the way and usher the giver into the presence of the great. And so, I'm hoping that my gift of research and my passion for HBCUs will hit to, HBCU alumni, individuals who are allies for HBCUs, and just to everyone that just really loves and supports or wants to know more about HBCUs. So I have a beautiful PowerPoint that will help me guide this presentation and really be able to give really great knowledge. This is not going to be a perfect PowerPoint presentation, as you can see. My shoes in the back. I'm going to see if I can kind of move that a little bit. So, but this is going to be the right presentation to really discuss and just really kind of give, really kind of give knowledge and even critique. So definitely, please in the chat give your thoughts, and even if I've missed an HBC that gave it that got a donation in 2024, I hope that you'll put that in the chat as well. So let's get started. As I said, I do have a PowerPoint presentation that I wanted to share that I do believe that will be beneficial. So let's get started. So again, 2024 HBCU donations in review. I have a lot of information that I would like to share that I think is very beneficial, but I believe it is so fitting again to really start with Martin Luther King. I think that he has a great quote that he put in one of his books that I think is really fitting for today. And so I did receive this from an article, so we'll go ahead and start. In the year before the March on Washington, Martin Luther King Jr. prepared a series of sermons that would become the book Strength to Love. This was King at his most prodigious, yes, and enduring, affirming that we are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality. And among these 1963 reflections, he challenged the origins and objectives of charity. He indicated philanthropy is commendable, he wrote, but it must not cause the philanthropist to overlook the circumstances of economic injustice, which makes philanthropy necessary. And so when we think about, philanthropy, when we think about, you know, when we're trying to raise funding for organizations, sometimes it can really feel tough. because it's kind of like, boy, I have this and I have that, that I have to fundraise for. But thankfully, because we have these issues, philanthropy is a cause. So it's on one side, we have the individuals who need it, who need the funds in order to continue. But here Martin Luther King, he's really charging the philanthropists to think about not to overlook, the circumstances of economic injustice, not just to give, but to really be able to also have a lens of why they're giving. And so I think about when we kind of take a look at the start of the pandemic, you know, philanthropists really were able to have foresight of why they were giving. There were some organizations, of course, that may just kind of just gave just to give, but we had some powerhouses that gave with this quote in mind. And so, if you are the giver or the receiver, it's just really kind of always thinking about why you're giving. And there are two actual opportunities that you as a supporter can give to organizations. I want to give two organizations. I'm a graduate of Fisk University, and so an upcoming event that will be taking place is the Fisk gymnastic team. They will be returning to DC January 26, 2025, and they're going to be at the Lindsay Ferry the Charles E. Smith Center. And so this is going to be the opportunity in which our young ladies who have had extraordinary press. And so we're so proud of them, so proud of them as an alum. And they're going to be back in the area. So definitely, if you would like to support them, particularly coming to their actual meet, that's going to be this upcoming Sunday, and that's going to be $25. But more importantly, if you would like to give a donation, please speak with me. But you don't even have to speak with me. You can speak with one of our representatives who will be able to provide directly an opportunity for you to give a donation. And you can do that through Cash App or through Zelle, just a quick opportunity to really give back to Fisk University. In addition, I am on the board for the DC HBCU Alumni Alliance, and so we will be having our kickoff registration for our 5K, Atlanta, DC, and Philly. However, if you are in the DC area, love for you to join the 5K that will be taking place in June. So definitely, if you want more information about that. Again, registration kickoff will be February the 14th. However, for the DC area, if you would love to join the 5K, I'm going to be doing it. I'm going to be involved. I want you to be involved. This is a great opportunity where all HBCU alumni and allies get together and run this 5K. So I hope that you'll join those two components, joining Fisk University for our gymnastic team, or like I said, for DC, our 5K HBCU Alliance. And so that will be the kickoff. So let's get started with in review 2024 in review. So we're so excited for 2025 and all the donations that are going to come through. But particularly, we out with Spelman. So Spelman, January 2024, I believe it was January 14th or so, 2024, they received a large gift of $100 million and forgive me for the last name if I mess it up, but from Rhonda Stryker and William Johnson. This was the largest single donation made to any historically Black college and university. And so this is just really remarkable. I had the opportunity to meet the past vice president of institutional giving at Spelman. He's really awesome. And I know that he was really able to play a major part in this gift. Everyone there at Spelman. I remember doing a master's at UPenn, and that's what I really got to see how strategic. My apologies. How strategic Spelman alumni are and have been for many, many years. Um, Particularly their alumni, they give back and they're very strategic. And so I'm just very excited for the interim president currently there at Spelman. And I know that, really Spelman is going to continue to do great things. I think it's important as well to acknowledge United Negro College Fund, which we see Dr. Lomax. He's been a powerhouse for United Negro College Fund. And so Dr. Lomax, president and CEO of UNCF, they received a $100 million grant from the Lilly Endowment to support capital campaigns. And so this actual gift, I do believe, would help their 37 members of UNCF, and particularly their endowments. And so let's go a little bit further at what Lomax has indicated. So since our founding in 1944, Lilly Endowment has been a consistent and significant philanthropic supporter. This 100 million grant is the largest unrestricted, and I'm going to make sure to talk about unrestricted and restricted, but unrestricted private grant we have ever received. UNCF is undertaking a bold 1 billion capital campaign, which they are doing now, that includes 5 components: student scholarships, unrestricted funds to enhance the endowment for historically Black colleges and universities, capacity building programs for member HBCUs such as technology, training and research, as well as cash reserves and endowed funds for UNCF and support for UNCF's annual campaign. I wanted to really kind of talk about where it talks about unrestricted private grants. And so, particularly when a donor, and again, UNCF, you can always come to Black Philanthropy Speaks for clarification. When we take a look at unrestricted, when a donor wants to give a gift that's unrestricted, they're giving you the privilege to really use the funds that's going to support your organization at its very best. When we take a look at Mackenzie Scott, where she has given 500,000 donations to several HBCUs. A lot of those donations were particularly unrestricted. And so college presidents were able to put those donations in in the best place that were possible. Restricted is, hey, I'm a graduate of a university and I'm a graduate of the political science club. So I want my donation to go restricted to this area. So just kind of thinking about that when you are thinking about giving a gift, you want to give a large donation. You as the donor, you have the right to put it in the area that you desire. However, you do want to look at the university and maybe even ask, hey, I would like to give in this area, but if you're open, I'm just saying, if you're open and you would like to give, uh, there's a need for another area, let the president or even let the fundraiser, the director of development, the major gift, really kind of talk about, hey, well, there are needs here, that you could support. We really need support in building capacity here. We really need support, and so there's many different ways. So that's really how I'm going to really kind of build. I'm going to talk about the school or the organization, and then it may kind of trickle into other areas that you can think about. So let's go to the next. So again, I didn't see many gifts for February, March, but again, if there are others, I do want you all to let me know and we can talk about that as well. So the next gift that I saw that was really monumental to another organization was the Honda Awards. Gave again, 500,000 grant to establish 2024-2025 HBCU Band Scholarship Program with Thurgood Marshall College Fund. And so we have UNCF, which particularly has 37 institutions, private institutions. Thurgood Marshall College Fund particularly looks at public. And I want to make sure that we have a key understanding of both. So I'm going to go to Thurgood Marshall College Fund. so that we have an understanding of their organization and who they support. And I'll also go back to UNCF as well. And you know what? Let's do UNCF first, and then we can go to Thurgood Marshall. So for UNCF, so UNCF, which they're known for this wonderful phrase, "A mind is a terrible thing to waste." So I'll just read from their website. So for more than 7 decades, this principle has remained at the heart of UNCF, enabling the organization to raise more than 5 billion and help more than 500,000 students and counting, not just college, but thrive, graduate, and become leaders. And so we do this in 3 ways: by awarding more than 12,000 student scholarships worth more than 65 million each year, by providing financial support to 37 historically Black colleges and universities, and by serving as the nation's leading advocate for more the importance of minority education and community engagement. This three-pronged approach is powerful. Since our founding in 1944, we've helped to we've helped to more than double the number of minorities attending college. The 6-year graduation rate for UNCF African American scholarship recipient is 70%. This is 11% higher than the national average and 31% higher than the national average for all African Americans. And I have to say that I have been a of UNCF, being an undergraduate at Fisk University. I had the great opportunity of getting a scholarship from UNCF, and so I'm forever grateful for UNCF and their job that they have benefited private HBCUs and as well to just students in general. So taking a look at the Thurgood Marshall Fund, the Thurgood Marshall Fund was established in 1987. The Thurgood Marshall College Fund is the nation's largest organization exclusively representing the Black college community. TMCF member schools include the publicly supported historically Black colleges and university, predominantly Black institution, PBIs, and historically Black community colleges. TMF member schools represent 80% of all students attending HBCUs. Through scholarship, capacity building, and research initiatives, innovation programs, and strategic programs, TMCF is a vital resource for kindergarten through higher education. This organization is also a source for top employers seeking top talent from competitive internships and good jobs. And so I believe that Dr. Harris, let me go leadership team, Harry L. Williams, president and CEO. Yes, he leads the organization and also teaches at Howard University as well. So let's take a look next. In April, and I thought this was a great example of just it's very important to be getting your name out there constantly. Livingstone College really had a remarkable year. This is a small private HBCU in North Carolina, but they had a remarkable year in 2024. So Livingstone College has made a significant mark in its institutional history with the recent receipt of a landmark 10 million donation, the largest in the college history. This gift stands as a testament to the institution's growing prominence and commitment to fostering educational excellence. The donation will play a crucial role in enhancing residence halls. So this was a restricted gift, or it couldn't. I would love to see the gift agreement, but enhancing residence hall to assist in paving the way for a new era of growth and opportunity at Livingstone. So Livingstone, this was an anonymous gift. However, in addition, they just had an extraordinary year. Doing research, I was able to see that they were able to receive its seventh 1 million contribution in 7 months. So I believe in July that they received a total of about several donations that total into 1 million contributions. So this was a really great year for Livingston College. And later on, we're going to really kind of talk about just a few strategies of, again, if you are HBCU institution, or if you are a Black donor base, or just organization in general, just how do you really kind of get your name out there? And we'll talk about that. For my days of being specifically in fundraising, I really want to talk about just what I saw, some consistent things that could be beneficial for you. So in May 2024, we did hear from FAMU that they did receive a huge gift. And I love FAMU. I have really great friends who went to FAMU. Beautiful institution, wonderful legacy, but they did get a fraudulent gift. So the donation was made by Gregory, I believe, Jerami, a 30-year-old entrepreneur who claimed to be Texas Young. And this was a legend. I'm not saying that this was, but it seemed like it did not come out to be true, that this gift was not successful. And so definitely it was really a lot of attention that was brought to FAMU. However, I know that FAMU, they're really rebuilding, and really rebuilding even their institutional advancement. I know for the future, because they have really strong alumni, that they're going to have many gifts that are going to come, that are going to be true. This just wasn't the case. And it really kind of brought a lot of individuals who maybe didn't know about FAMU, to really kind of talk about it at this institution. And so there were a lot of lessons learned. I even wrote a small comment, I believe in May, about this, of just, this is a real rebuilding process. And so definitely we wish FAMU the very best. Again, just extraordinary talent. And so definitely we wish the best for them. But that is something that we did see that brought a lot of attention to the HBCU world, and just really kind of how are we vetting? How are we vetting individuals that are coming with large gifts? And so again, a lot of lessons learned that we can talk about as well in the future. So in August, not only did Howard receive this gift, but I'll talk about this first since I am a bison. But Howard University received transformative 175 million gift from Bloomberg Philanthropies, to bolster the College of Medicine. And so this was just an extraordinary gift. Not only did Howard receive, but Howard, Meharry, Morehouse, as well as the Charles R. Drew University Medicine and Science. So it was dedicated to medical schools, that Mr. Bloomberg really donated 600 million to 4 historically Black colleges. So this was very extraordinary. Again, the donation was announced in August 2024 as a part of the Greenwood Initiative. The gift is intended to strengthen the school's endowment and diversify the medical field. And so definitely this is extraordinary. Again, when we take a look at individuals, these past, if we kind of just look at the past 5 years, decade or so, primary, Bloomberg, as well as McKinsey, Scott, Netflix, many others, and such as yourselves, who are giving back to HBCUs. But these transformative gifts will be written in the history books, in which they should, that they made transformative gifts that will automatically make change and really assist with individuals be having the opportunity to become doctors. And so, I'm going to little talk about my story in the end, but philanthropy changes people's lives, and also changes HBCUs, their infrastructure. And so that's important. When we think about HBCUs and you think about your donation, think about how your gift is really going to be able to change or make for better the infrastructure. And when I say the infrastructure, to keep things rolling, to keep things going, you think about the lights, you think about payroll, all these different components. But let's think on even a higher level. Bloomberg's gift is really on a major level to really kind of help with recruitment, sustainability, really capacity. There's so many components that this gift will be able to help Howard, Meharry, Morehouse, and as well as Charles R. Drew University. So be thinking about how your gift, if you are a donor who wants to give, and you want to speak with HBCUs, I strongly suggest, number one, maybe speak to an alum, but you have the opportunity to go straight to the institutional advancement office and partner with individuals. Really talk before you give your gift, of how you want your gift to be shaped. You have that right, and also, when I used to work at Trinity Washington University here in Washington D.C. I was the donor liaison, and my role was collecting the gifts. I collected the gifts, wrote letters back to donors, and really did uh, donor relations. But that experience was so monumental because it was only a team of four of us, and I was able to see from start to finish of how a gift was really brought in, and also, how my boss would have I would be able to sit in on dinners, and really really see how she would write letters to, or I would also be able to write letters and also be able to write in the magazine of how a gift was really transformative as well, or even show stewardship, how a donation was really beneficial, to an individual, to a student. That all matters. All of that really matters. And so, you know, particularly being at Trinity, when a gift would come in, it would just be so amazing. I got to see front hand of, okay, this is how a gift really helps the university, how it keeps the light on, how it keeps us be able to purchase, supplies for students, be able to help a building. At the time, we had a building campaign for the elevator. And so now Trinity has built a couple buildings over there, with the great leadership of Pat McGuire. So just be thinking about that. How can my gift be transformative? You may not have 600 million, but you might. But no matter your gift, you want to really always be thinking how my gift can be transformative. In years down the line, will people write about me? But they don't have to. Remember, you can be anonymous, as we saw with Livingstone University. So these are all really key components to think about. I thought it was also very important, as Biden is now the past president, but Biden Harris administration did their thing. All right. Biden Harris administration, in 2024, September 2024, they were able to give, and this has been the highest, 1.3 billion in additional funding, in a record of over 17 billion in total support for historically Black colleges. So again, today, this was September 2024, Biden Harris administration, they announced an additional federal investment to historically black colleges totaling $1.3 billion. With this investment combined with the previous announced 16 billion in total federal investments in HBCUs, the Biden-Harris administration has set another record of over 17 billion in federal investment in HBCUs from fiscal year 2021 through current available data for FY fiscal year 2024. And so, for this new administration, we are going to need to push. We are going to need to make sure our government officials are on their P's and Q's. And I know they already are, but again, as alumni of HBCUs, those are some questions you may want to be asking your institution. I'm even asking my own institution at Fisk and even at Howard. How are we preparing for this next administration? And the good thing that's already been happening, we see, I believe, Morgan State president. Let me see if I can take a look. Um, but I'm so thankful for Morgan State's president. He's such a great leader, and he's always forward thinking, as many presidents are at our institutions. But I remember, I believe that he also wanted to have a strategic planning meeting as we're going into this next administration. And so that's something I'll just have to maybe just talk about a little bit later. I don't have that on hand. I wish I had of, but we just have to be really, we're going to have to be very strategic. We're going to have to be very strategic as we move into this, and even for ourselves like never even before with, funding. And so that's going to be really key and important as we move forward. So as we take a look in October, for many of us, for HBCUs, this is our homecoming. And so I wanted to take a look at Alabama A&M. They received $2.4 million in donation during their homecoming festivities, setting a new record for the second consecutive year, outpacing the year before by over $1.1 million. The record settling week of supporting sets the stage for a year-long celebration on the Hill. And so in 2025, the university will celebrate 150 years. And so their goal is to raise 150 million from private and public sources to support campus improvement, STEM capacity, and scholarship. And so definitely, if you are an alum or an ally for Alabama A&M, they're letting you know they need your support. And so definitely this is really awesome. They did a feasibility study to really know that, hey, we can do this. And so definitely it'll be my goal as well to make a donation to Alabama A&M as well. So this is really great. Again, this was during their homecoming week. They were really able to just do amazing things with alumni. I thought that this is really awesome as well. Delaware State, they have a lot of tension as well going their way. Their president, he does a great job. I really love the president there, as well as their new, I believe, athletic director that is going to be there as well. But in November, Delaware State to field first Division I women's wrestling team at an HBCU. And so bolstering by a $1.25 million gift from HBCU Wrestling, this historic Black university plans to begin competition in the 2025-2026 year. So that was really awesome to see, primarily seeing this gift as well. So I wanted to note Penn Entertainment donated $500,000 to HBCU for STEM education campaign. So this was dedicated to the gaming and entertainment giant is teaming up with Harris Stowe State University to launch the STEM Capital campaign, which is aimed at advancing careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM, for students across the greater St. Louis area. So I think this is really awesome. Definitely, as we are going into AI, this is just really fitting. So Penn is helping kickstart the campaign with $500,000 to help Harris Stowe and its new campaign fund scholarships and state-of-the-art STEM building on campus. So this is really awesome and awesome for the president, Dr. Collins Stem. She says the new STEM facility and scholarship opportunities will enhance our ability to equip students with the tools that need to lead and innovate in an ever evolving workforce. And so, definitely, when we look at even the research, HBCUs, particularly, we are very strong in STEM, and so this is just very fitting and just very awesome. Let's continue. So you see here for Tuskegee, yes, Tuskegee University in December, their HBCU athletic department received a 1 million plus, again, anonymous donation. This is just really awesome. Again, an anonymous donation was given to uh, boost the work of Tuskegee University athletic director, Mr. Ruffins, fundraising efforts for student athletes by donating 1.5 million toward the HBCU program. And so this donation will help the athletic department continue and enhance the student athletics, band, and student government experience. And so this is really awesome from the president. He notes Tuskegee's university commitment to growing and properly resourcing all of our auxiliaries. This includes a fully funded athletic program, a dynamic band, and well-resourced cheerleading squad. All of these represents hashtag the Tuskegee way, and this donation further supports those. So this is just awesome, really awesome to see the great work that is going on there. So we see here, I thought this was really awesome to see. So at Stillman, and so in December, HBCU the founder of Stillman, the grandson, upheld family's legacy with a 2 million gift to school. And so we see here that the grandson of Stillman's founder continues the founder with a $2 million gift. The descendant of the college founder, Reverend Charles Allen Stillman, bestowed the funding in honor of his grandfather. And so Game Day did report on this. The donation will aid in the school's financial sustainability for its diverse student body. And so this is just really awesome. This is really awesome. Um, you know, I think it's very important that we're constantly, as HBCUs and any institutions, publicizing your institution, but not only really advertising or just sharing all the great things about your institution. I think what I'll do is have one of my good colleague who really has a awesome job with building grants. Um, it's very important to do a write up about your organization so that when an organization or a foundation wants to know about really about what's going on at your institution, your research, what your strengths are, you have a one pager. You have a one pager document that really kind of highlights that. So that's something in the future that I'm hoping that we'll be able to talk about here in depth. So let's do an overview of key facts about HBCUs. And I did get this information from UNCF, which they always do a great economic impact report, which I included as well in my dissertation. But I think these are good facts that you need to know about why HBCUs are so important and they are needed. Number one, HBCUs generate, and this was just for the 2024 year. So it indicates that $16.5 billion in direct economic impact. And so when you think about Howard in this area, if we're not having Howard, if we're not having Bethune, if we're not having Fisk, that's taking away from the city the economic impact for that city. So we add two cities economic impact. That's number one. So, and they even indicated, so if they were a company, the nation's HBCUs would place in the top 50 of the nation's Fortune 500 companies in job creations. Here again, it talks about collectively, HBCUs create over nearly 140,000 jobs. So immediately, not just for, sometimes people may think, well, professors and higher leadership, we have individuals who work in our cafeterias, who work in our IT department. They all matter. Individuals who are administrative, our administrative assistants, Ms. Harris, well, I'm saying for my institution. Again, these individuals all really matter. Okay, on an average for each job creation on campus, 1.5 off campus job exists because of spending related to the institution. So that's one thing to keep in note. I'll also just note one more. The 51,269 HBCU graduates in the class of 21 can expect work life earnings of $146 billion. All right. And so, that's 57% more than the 93 billion that could expect without their degree or certification. So these key components are very important to note. We could go on and on and on, but I would like to give some key components to think about in I was thinking about a little bit earlier about how can we ensure that we are continuing to ensure that we're still getting funding for our institutions. And so one of the first components I talked about is really ensuring for your board, diversifying your board, really thinking about um, you know really thinking about, for some institutions there are terms. I think about for public institutions there are terms where boards can are staying and leaving, but sometimes when we think about for private institutions, sometimes their terms can just be long term. And so is that really beneficial, when we're kind of thinking about when they're bringing resources to the institution? So really thinking about the board of trustees, diversifying the board, really going back and saying, you know, uh, is this the time that you need to stay, or this a time that you maybe need to come back at another time? Or, you know, what are some key ways that you are really being beneficial to this team? So, not being scared to really kind of thinking about that, to really kind of ensuring, because when we think about board members for institutions, they are a great benefit to the institution and really are able to bring resources. As the president, I'll just give an example of president of an institution. When you have board members, there are individuals that board member has connections to that the president may not have, or the dean may not have. And so you really want to make sure that you're utilizing that board member, really training them as well of really of all the resources that are at the campus. Because when we think about board members, they are a stakeholder, and they also are the cheerleader to share to the world about the institution. So, are those board members, are they actually really trained to the very capacity on how to really sell the institution? Not even sell the institution, but be a benefit to the institution. So when they are in China, they're able to talk about Howard. They're able to talk about Spelman. They're able to talk about Fisk, Stillman, Livingstone. So those are just really kind of things about to think about. In addition, as I talked about, diversifying your board, not just having alumni on the board, having individuals who are outside of the norm, but are a key ally to the institution. That's going to be a very benefit, because you want a very diverse board so that they're able to recruit individuals to give in different ways. And so, that just really takes strategy. That just really takes strategy. I had another component as well, and I'm going to take a look at my notes here. But another component would be, as we see that major donors, it would be great to just have major donors all day, every day. However, it's very important to really ensure as well. Let's see. to ensure that the donors who give every single day, that they are cultivated, that they are talked to. Those individuals that give to your institution, um, and they give the smaller gifts, those individuals matter every single day. I remember when I was at my job, and we had a new director of development, and before she came, I believe we will only write letters to individuals that gave over 500. And when that leader had got there, she said, "No, we're going to write letters to everyone, because every gift matters. Every gift matters, and you don't even know, for the individuals who are giving under 500, how they could be testing you. You know how they could be testing you. Like, if you're only, maybe they're only giving $25 a month, but they have the capability to give 3 or 4 or 5 million. You want to make sure that every individual that gives you a donation, that you are really ensuring that you're cultivating them, that you're stewarding them in the best way possible. And so that's just very important. Like I said, major gifts, major donors are very important, but those individuals who give those donations, the 25, the $100, those gifts add up, you know, and they also can turn into other gifts. When you think about it, and then sometimes, I'm 41 now, and you want to think even long term. You want to think about, my legacy after I leave here. Plan giving, you know, that should be a serious conversation as well. Plan giving. Plan giving sometimes is not talked about as much, but it can be talked about, and it should be talked about. When we talk about plan giving, you want to talk to alumni of how they will give, you know, after they leave this earth. Will you keep institution A in your will? And so, this can be done in many different ways, particularly when I was at my institution previously. During October, November, that was a great time to talk about that, to really open up the discussion. We created videos, we created appeal letters, really to talk about, how we would engage our alumni in plan giving. But plan giving doesn't need to be during uh, November, during Thanksgiving. It can be a year-round process, and it all should be considered even with younger alumni. So I think that's important as well. So diversifying your board, um, including faculty. So I want to go back. Diversifying your board. Um, I can't remember. But diversifying your board, yes, we talked about plan giving, major donors, monthly donors, and I think as well, making it easy to give, making giving easy. Yes, there are going to be individuals who will give a check. There's going to be individuals who will give a check, and you always want to make sure that that's a possibility for individuals to give check. Of course, people are going to give stock, but in this millennial world, and we think about Gen Z, um, make giving easy. Apple Pay, uh, all of those components are going to be very important when you're wanting to engage younger alumni in giving. Really being able to connect in my research. I talked about this, and I remember even being in my master's program talking about this. Really being able to connect um, a cause to millennials and Gen Z. they're not gone are the days where individuals are just going to give out of obligation. So it's going to be very important that you are, number one, indicating why they should be giving. That's number one, but also giving a cause and how their impact of their gift will make a difference. That's going to be important as well. Finally, I would say stewardship, 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 stewardship. Showing to your alumni constantly how their gift made an impact, and additionally saying thank you, saying thank you, saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I remember I just went to a conference, a campaign conference, and this was a big organization. And, it was really great hearing about all the methods and tools that they use, to really plan campaigns and huge campaigns. And one of the examples that she provided was that they received a huge couple $1 million gift, and you know one of the donors was not thanked. And so it was great how she used that lesson to share with us the importance of thanking, 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 double checking, just to ensure that the donor is thanked in many ways, overthanked to the point that they're just irritated. No, but you can really curve a balance into really talking to donors on how they can be thanked. You can. I remember when yes, when I was at my institution, we would do monthly birthday email blast to them. um, I would love when I would do this monthly newsletter. I would love to see who clicked what, so I could go back and tell my boss, we need to think. We need to really kind of send them that. It looks like they're going to be coming to this event. So if they come to an event, thank them then. You said happy birthday to them. That was an opportunity. You thank them for their donation. You thank them for their future donation. Um, maybe you're just sending them a card to say, I was just thinking about you. Because guess what? Donors are people too. Donors have bad days. They're just not having all this money and happy all the time, or who I should give. Yeah, they're thinking about that, but they're going through the same struggles that you're going to. So treating donors as people, that's very important, as regular people. Now, there should be a certain eliteness, I guess you could say, that you're giving them the star power experience. And sometimes people don't need that, and sometimes people do need that. But the reality is that how you would want to be treated, they want to be treated like that too. So it's really kind of talking about that. How do we treat our donors? I wanted to note as well, faculty are donors as well. Faculty are donors as well. So, you know, just kind of thinking about, when a faculty does give, how do you really kind of thank them for their service, and how do you and loop them to the process, or really kind of stand out? Faculty are donors, staff are donors as well. Staff at your institutions are donors. And so those are just some key components to think about. Diversifying your your uh, your stakeholders, alumni, board of trustee members, faculty are stakeholders as well, staff are stakeholders as well, students are as well. Um, Outside organizations that you work with are stakeholders. So that was our number one takeaway. Number two, major donors, monthly donors. Even though major donors are really constantly thought of and we want that all the time, just keeping in the mindset as well that your monthly donors are just as important as well. We talked about planned giving a bit. That's important as well. Really being able to rev that up. That's an opportunity, yes, that takes a little longer compared to some of these immediate gifts, but even major gifts can take a few months. Breeze 2017 says that, a major donor gift can take a few months to several years. And then you have anonymous gifts, gifts that just come. That's great. And then finally, I'll just end with, like we said, just going back to stewardship. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I say thank you. I say thank you for joining, listening to the replay. I hope that you will join in the future. My goal is every week to do a video, just to be consistent. I'm very excited. Dodash, lead attorney, those are two people in here, and Dr. Alexis. So lead attorney, Dodash, and Dr. Alexis. I've been inspired by those three to really get on YouTube and to start my YouTube channel talking about everything philanthropy. So again, thank you for joining. I look forward to seeing you coming back here. And again, if I missed any donations, we'll talk about that next week. And thank you again. Black Philanthropy Speaks. Have a good one.